a stark reality. As military spending soars to record levels, the world is currently off track in meeting its development obligations as implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals ahead of the 2030 deadline remains a growing area of concern.
In 2024, global military spending surged to a record $2.7 trillion, the equivalent of $334 for every person on Earth. That is really 13 times the amount of official development assistance from the world's wealthiest nations and 750 times the regular budget of the United Nations. At the same time, our shared promise of sustainable development is in jeopardy. Only 1 in 5 Sustainable Development Goals targets is on track.
Confirms that the current SDG financing gap is now above $4 trillion annually and frames the redirection of resources towards military spending as crowding out financing essential for social investment, poverty reduction, education, healthcare, environmental protection and infrastructure, and therefore undermines progress on nearly all the SDGs. The report warns that this disproportionately affects low-income and fragile states already grappling with underdevelopment that could lead to greater insecurity, a vicious cycle in which the problem is merely exacerbated. Highlighted 3 urgent messages: that the current trajectory was unsustainable and that investing in people was investing in the first line of defense against violence in any society, that a better path was within reach, and that redirecting even a fraction of today's military spending could close vital development gaps, and that a rebalancing was necessary to put diplomacy first while boosting financing on development.
This is clear. Excessive military spending does not guarantee peace. It often undermines it, fueling arms race, deepening mistrust, and diverting resources from the very foundations of stability. A more secure world begins by investing at least as much in fighting poverty as we do in fighting wars.
The report finds that if $1 billion could generate 11,000 military jobs, the same amount could create over 17,000 jobs in healthcare, or almost 27,000 jobs in education.
Ultimately, arms control is about people. We need a new vision of security, human-centered and rooted in the UN Charter. A vision that safeguards people, not just borders, and prioritizes institutions, equity, and planetary sustainability. Let this report spark a new conversation, one that challenges the status quo and inspires bold, transformative change.
With officials here making the case for why multilateral development cooperation produces results that military expenditure simply cannot.
We're all aware of the fight against HIV/AIDS, for them, right? Since early 2000s, international community decided to act together. And over the last 20 plus years, the Global Fund, right, for HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria raised more than $60 billion with international action. It saved 65 million lives. Right? We know the story about multilateral action to save the ozone layer. Right? Again, multilateral action. Right? Billions of dollars of expenditure. Right? We removed 99% of the ozone depleting substance from the production. The response to COVID-19 was a collective effort. Right? The UN led the international response, right? From strategy, from analysis to strategy to vaccine, right? Development and distribution. So multilateral action works.
With the view that these types of investments better guarantee peace and stability in an era where conflicts continue to dominate the narrative, from Gaza to Sudan to Ukraine, among others. And as military expenditure goes up, the face of human suffering proliferates. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.